So I've been on this mission to try and rebuild all of Newcrest. Well, rebuild's a strong word. It's more like build all of Newcrest because it's empty. But I've been on this mission to try and build up every lot so there's fully functional houses and community lots and museums and, you know, everything you need in Newcrest I've been trying to make. And also use just the base game for it so that everybody can download houses. I know it's so annoying to like want to fill up Newcrest but have to do it again in every save. So I'm kind of trying to make a save file for this. And this is one of those houses for it. It's not close to being done. I still have probably like 4 lots left to do and then I have to make a bunch of Sims still. But I'm getting there. And I've been putting off this area because I didn't know what style of houses I want to do. So this is that like corner lot in the bottom area of Newcrest. If that helps you figure it out, it's the 30 by 30 lot. And I think I've decided that I want these houses to all be like older looking brick houses because the other neighborhood that I built is like all like siding. Each house is a different color. And on this one, I kind of want to have them all be brick, but like sort of different styles of brick shaped houses, I guess. This house is like a little bit more fancy than the other ones that I built. It's also directly across the street from the library and the museum. So you kind of get the idea that it's probably a really nice area because it's like right across from the museum and the library. So, and also the big lake. Like it's definitely like some high property value over here. Also, this lot is very annoying for a couple reasons. Number one, the lighting is terrible. You'll see that I'm building this in the evening time, and that's because the morning and the afternoon are always covered in shadows. This is a problem I have with a lot of the lots in The Sims 4, and it's why I build in like very specific areas always, and it's because the lighting is ugly. Like it's one thing to play in those lots, but when you're making a speed build or something, like you want to build on a lot that has nice lighting. Otherwise, like if the sun is always behind your house, it looks stupid from the front at all times. That's the problem that I have with the lots in Del Sol Valley as well. Those big, giant, fancy mansion lots up in the hills, the sun's always in a bad spot. It's really hard to build there. Anyway, so if you see the weird lighting and the struggles with it, just disregard it. It's the lot. It's so annoying. I also always think that this lot should start on the other side of the road. I guess it doesn't make any sense because this is like kind of a pedestrian road, but I always assume the front is on the other side, and then it's not. This is the technical front of the lot, but whatever. You'll see this house is kind of like a colonial style. It's all brick. I picture this house was built in the 90s and then like kind of inspired by a more old school architecture. So it's not like an old house. It's a newish old house that's trying to look older than it is. So there's some kind of funky interior choices as well. Like it doesn't have the most big, beautiful open floor plan. It's got a very like closed off like hallways and archways and doors into places kind of floor plan. It also is kind of big. It ends up being 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. There's 3 bedrooms upstairs and a bedroom downstairs, which in my mind is pretty realistic. That downstairs room could be an office or something if you wanted it to, but I furnished it as like a grandma's bedroom. So you could have a lot of Sims living here if you'd like to, you know, a couple kids, grandma, a couple parents. They also have a really, really big backyard. That's the beauty of the big lot. The house isn't that big on this lot. Like I could have made a way bigger house, but they have a lot of land, which is nice because they've got a big pool, they've got a garden. I mean, they've got it all. And this house is base game, but I didn't like stick to any budget or anything because I was kind of trying to make it a little bit fancier. So it's base game, anyone can download it, but your Sims might not be able to afford it, unfortunately. I think it ends up being like 60, 70, maybe. Yeah, it's a little on the pricier side. I started off with 45,000 and then I just kept giving myself more. So I don't even remember how much I ended up doing because I've got a mod called UI Cheats Extension. So you can like cheat just by clicking on things. Like you can click and drag needs or just click on the money. And each time you click, it gives you 1,000 simoleons. So I just kept giving myself 1,000 more. So I don't really know exactly how much this house costs. I guess we'll find out at the end when I do the tour, but she's probably not the most affordable. But listen, have you seen the market these days? Like everything's expensive. Okay, anyway, the layout of the house. So you'll see you walk straight into a hallway. That has the staircase in it. And then you walk through that into another hallway. That one's just a hallway. The whole middle of the house is hallway. It's kind of a waste of space, but listen, these weird square houses are hard to figure out floor plans for. And then to the left of the front door, you walk straight into the kitchen. And then from there, you go into the dining room, which is pretty practical, I feel like. And then that kind of goes through the hallways into a living room on the right side of the house. It also has a bathroom down there and a bedroom. And then upstairs, you know, the house kind of goes around 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom upstairs, 2 bathrooms upstairs. I have an ensuite for the parents. Never mind. The bathrooms are pretty small. I mean, they could probably be bigger, but there's a lot of hallway in this house and not a lot of practical space. Look, I never said it was a good idea. I just said it's what I did. I'm not defending myself. it was maybe a mistake, but it looks nice. I also tried to use some different tile than normal, so I used the like little tiny tile. I think it's so cute. I love this sort of tile, and I'd like to see more of it in The Sims. The other problem that I had, and I have this a lot in houses where I do things like this, those windows are not centered on the squares, right? And so when you want to put, for example, a sink in front of the window, well, good luck doing that, because there's not. There's not a counter in front of the window. This is the thing. In real life, you could so easily just have the sink centered on the window. But in The Sims, it has to be centered on the tile because it has to be on the counter, and the counter is one tile wide. So like, you're really trapped with our grid system. And I just so wish that I could have put the sink in front of the window, but I couldn't. So I put an island instead. And I think it turned out okay. It's not like the most ideal layout, but at least there's like some bar seating. So you have some spots for your kids to sit or whatever. This is the thing. I don't really use bar seating for my Sims to eat very often in The Sims, but in real life, having like bar stools at the kitchen counters is so useful. Like growing up, I used to always do my homework at the kitchen counter. I used to eat all my meals at the kitchen counter. Like I was always at the kitchen counter when I was a kid. So I tend to like put those things in my houses, but realistically your Sims, it's kind of annoying when they sit there, to be honest, because like they never use the table. But I never use my table. So maybe that's realistic. Do you sit at your table to eat? I feel like some families are very like sit down to dinner every night, but I was never, and I never am now either. I sit at my desk to eat dinner or on the couch. So why even bother to have a table? You know? Sims won't use it, I won't use it. I'm pretty sure this table has too big of a plant, so your Sims can't even use it if they wanted to. So I fully made an unfunctional dining room. That's okay, because it was worth it. It's cute. It's also pretty small, like you couldn't have the whole family sit at that table in this house. The house isn't that big. Like I said, the house is actually kind of small on the inside compared to like the size of the lot, and also like the grandeur of the house, you know? Like the house is kind of grand looking. I feel like you'd expect it to be bigger, but the rooms are actually quite small on the inside. Anyway, there's your description of the downstairs. Speaking of grandeur, no, I don't know where I'm going with this. I wanted to tell you guys about Animal Crossing and the Animal Crossing amiibos. This is a really weird thing that I feel like maybe you're gonna be so confused by if you don't play Animal Crossing. But basically, Animal Crossing has these like trading cards. They're kind of like Pokemon cards, and I have some of them right here. These were like special limited edition ones, right? And on the back of them and in the inside, they have these NFC tags. So you can scan this to your Switch or to your controller. And basically, if you scan it, oh, I got an email. It's from Amazon about my Prime membership. Anyway, if you scan this one is for Chai, then Chai will like come visit you in your campsite in Animal Crossing. The villager of the trading card will come there. Well, they've got a bunch of them, and you can use them essentially to get the villagers on your island if you want to, or you can have them like come visit you in the new cafe or whatever. But they just released these new Series 5 amiibos, and a lot of the current villagers that didn't have amiibos are in this set, and there's also some new villagers that are in this set. So naturally, the Animal Crossing players are very excited about this, right? And so, as we've seen before with Animal Crossing and Nintendo related things, of course they're gonna go out of stock, and there's gonna be like massive resellers and all this. Well, they came out today when I'm recording this. I pre-ordered mine on Best Buy. Luckily, I was live on Twitch when they went up for pre-order, so people told me and I bought them on stream. So like, I have mine, they're coming in the mail tomorrow. But a lot of people tried to go into stores today to get them, and I heard the Target near me apparently didn't even have any, like none came in a shipment, so they didn't even have any, and people were lined up out the door at 8 a.m. like waiting for the store to open, and they didn't even have any. And it's just for like a pack of cards. And the thing is, like these trading cards, but these ones are from a set where like they only had these Sanrio villagers, but the new ones, there's like 48 that you can get, and your pack's gonna have 6 cards. You're gonna get 1 of the NPCs and then 5 villagers, and they won't even be the ones you want probably. So like, it's just so interesting to watch like the frenzy to buy these cards, and like how all the resellers are gonna be trying to sell them for like $100 on eBay probably later today. Except you can make fake ones of these. It's just an NFC tag, so you can make that at home. People sell them on Etsy, and they don't look the same. They're not gonna be the same trading card, but like you can get fake ones that work. So, and then you can just buy the ones you want. Like if you really wanted Marty and only Marty, well then there you go. Just get that one on Etsy or make it yourself or whatever. I guess the trading card part is fun to like open it and see who you get. I just think it's so interesting to watch the frenzy of it. And also, it's just cards. Why don't they make more of them? I don't know. And why doesn't Target even have any? It's so bizarre watching all of this unfold. I bet if you don't play Animal Crossing, you're probably like, this is scary. You people are terrifying. But it's just so interesting. So I thought I would tell you all about that. It's been a big week for Animal Crossing. They had the last major update for Animal Crossing New Horizons come out and the first and only DLC. So for you simmers, that's like if they were like, we're only gonna do one more update, here's 5,000 new items, and also we're only gonna have one expansion pack, here it is, game over. And we're out. That happened this week, so it's been a big week for Animal Crossing. I mean, you can like compare that to The Sims. Imagine if The Sims was like, hey, by the way, this is our last major update for The Sims 4. You're not gonna get anything new for The Sims 4 ever again. I mean, it would be a big week. So that's been happening this week. So I've been streaming a lot of Animal Crossing right now, so it's like very much on my mind. I know I'm doing a Sims build, but I've been thinking a lot about Animal Crossing because of this. There is some new Sims content coming out next week. We've got a new kit, a plant kit, coming out on Tuesday. But otherwise, I don't think things are looking so good for us as far as new content for The Sims this year. We have 2 more kits coming out, this plant one and then some like unnamed one. This is in 2021. We have 2 kits and I think another update, but that's it. So we'll have to wait and see. But it's gonna be a slow rest of the year for The Sims. Usually we get an expansion pack at the end of the year, but they didn't do one this year, and it's confirmed they're not gonna do one this year at the end of the year. The only expansion this year was Cottage Living, which you might actually be happy about if you don't want to like buy another one, which is fair enough. But listen, I'm a simmer on YouTube. I like to get new packs. I also like to get new worlds and stuff, so it's kind of sad to not have another one, but maybe we'll get one early next year. My hopes are not high though. I'm kind of starting to worry that we're not going to get another expansion pack until like summer of next year, which gives me bad vibes, but it's okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. At least we'll have 50 more kits to tide us over. I shouldn't even joke about that. That's like a threat. The Sims is threatening with more kits. I keep quoting that. That is from one Sims community article title from like 2 weeks ago. He posted an article called "The Sims Threatens with More Kits." And it made me laugh a lot, and I keep making jokes about it. And I realized that, like, you probably didn't even see it, nor do you remember it. It amuses me when he makes titles like that. So, do you know what? Speaking of Sims things that amuse me, The Sims, whoever is their new social media account manager, I don't know who runs their social media anymore, but whoever is doing it right now, in my opinion, is doing a pretty good job. Like, I'm really enjoying The Sims on social media recently. They've been kind of up in their game. They also, I kid you not, posted on Instagram a photo like a month ago with a caption that said Vladdy Daddy. You know how everybody calls Vlad the vampire Vladdy Daddy as a joke? They literally posted a caption acknowledging it. The Sims said Vladdy Daddy on Instagram. Whenever like a brand comes out with things like this, because obviously we all say it like as a joke, and so they're saying it as a joke too. They're not serious, I hope, but like we all say it as a joke, and then The Sims comes out and puts in their Instagram Vladdy Daddy. Can they say that? It's really interesting when brands do stuff like that. That isn't that bad. Like, brands do all sorts of weird things. There's a bunch of brands on TikTok that, in my opinion, are doing like a really good job. Like, whoever runs their social media is really smart. Like, for example, Duolingo, like the language learning app, their TikTok is like unhinged. They have like a person dancing in the Duolingo costume all the time, and they'll like make jokes like threatening people. Because you know how the internet kind of memes about how the Duolingo bird's gonna come and kill you if you don't like do your daily tasks or whatever? They're like embracing that on their TikTok and like referencing it and making jokes, and their TikToks are like actually kind of funny. I think it's really smart when brands like, I know obviously it's very curated and like very planned, but they aren't like taking it too seriously. Like, you know how some brands, their only social media presence is like very curated and like, ooh, here's my makeup brand. Like, when you do things that are funnier and like kind of in with the times, I think they always do a lot better. I think it's smart. I've enjoyed watching what Duolingo has been doing on TikTok. There were a lot of brands that like did things like that on Tumblr back in the day, and like funny things on Twitter. And I don't know, I guess people talking about you in a way that like is I don't know, even if it's negative, people are still talking about your like unhinged TikToks, and it kind of works. I don't know. I'm into it. Come on, Sims. Threaten people. See how that goes. Get someone in like a big Grim Reaper costume or something and start threatening people into playing The Sims. Oh my god, no, a cow plant, duh. Get someone in a cow plant costume and threaten people. I think it would work. I don't know. Could you imagine? That's quite a brand shift for them. They aren't quite like that right now. Okay, I probably should talk about the build. As you can see, I'm finishing the outside. On the outside of the house, I've got a little garden on the far right side. There's like a playground. There's also a grill and a table. We've got a big pool. Don't worry, I did put a trash can and a mailbox. I did not forget. There isn't a thermostat because the house is base game only, so I don't have them. But obviously you could add a thermostat if you're playing with seasons or whatever. And you know what? I don't think this house looks like it's only base game. I feel like a lot lot of times people look at a house and be like, oh, base game's so boring. You can't make a nice house with base game. You really can. They've added a lot of nice things into the Sims base game recently. They've been stepping it up for the past couple of years. I appreciate that they still update it, you know? Like, they still do updates that genuinely come with really cool things, or they go back and adjust like previous items, like how we got all those new landscaping colors, like all the new flower swatches on the bushes. They didn't have to do that, but they went back and like added so much to the base game doors and windows and bushes. I appreciate that they still do that, because it would really suck if they didn't. You know, if they pulled an Animal Crossing and had their last major update a year and a half into the game. Sorry, Nintendo always does this. It doesn't make it any less sad though. Animal Crossing is so successful. It's so weird that they're stopping on it. I don't know. I know they're like moving the team to a different game, and like Nintendo always has their games have short cycles like this. It's just, I feel like they could do really well with having more. Do the Sims model, you know? Have one game for 7 years. Sorry, that's a sore subject too. It's too soon. Also, don't look at my nail polish. My nail polish is really chipped. I painted these last weekend for Halloween, and now they're really chipped, and I'm embarrassed. It's actually held up really well though. Only like 2 nails are badly chipped to the point where I think it's super noticeable. So that's nice. This is actually from Simply Nailogical's line. It's Hollow Taco in a blue. I don't usually paint my nails blue. I usually only go for like, I don't know, lighter colors, but I wanted to do something fun because it was Halloween. I wasn't gonna wear anything blue related for Halloween, but I don't know. I picked blue sparkly and it worked. It held up well. So I guess there's a stamp of approval from me for Simply Nailogical's nail polish line. Anyway, I'm pretty much done with the build now. This video is all over the place. Do you even like speed builds? Personally, I love speed builds. Favorite thing to do in The Sims. I just like a chance to sit here and talk, because I can talk for a long time. I'm getting the game open so we can tour it. Okay, other life update. I've got a meeting in like 45 minutes. I'm nervous about it. We've had to reschedule it like 3 times as well, because there's like 3 parties involved. It's for a sponsorship. It's not that big of a deal. But like, people keep being busy, so we have to move it. And now it's finally here after like 3 weeks, and I'm just, now it's been built up to the point where I'm anxious about it. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be like 30 minutes long too, probably, but it's making me nervous. Okay, so I built the house on this lot, that Tranquil Crescent 30 by 30 in Newcrest. Let me turn on move objects. Oh, I spelled it wrong like 4 times. All right, move objects on. And then on the gallery, it's called Big Brick House. And it cost 94,000? I thought it cost like 70. Oh no, how do I always do that? Well, we knew it was fancy, okay? Anyway, look at the lighting. Do you see what I mean by bad lighting in the front of the house? Ick, this is the best lighting in the evening. But this is the house. I love the brick porch, the brick walkway, the brick chimney. But it's a pretty simple shape. I mean, it's not like a super fancy build or anything. On the back, you can see I did a kind of interestingly shaped pool. And there's a lot of space in the patio for like adding extra things. You could totally have a rocket ship if you wanted one on this lot. There's like so much space for rocket ships, which is a nice perk, you know? And the balcony, there's an upstairs and a downstairs patio balcony sort of thing, which is nice as well, because then it has good space for like chess tables or easels or like actual gameplay things you need to fit somewhere. It's a good spot to put it. Yoga mats, like all that kind of stuff. Inside, like I was saying, you walk straight in first into a little hallway. It's got a coat rack and like a table for your keys. And then you can go to the left into the kitchen. I do have a trash can, don't worry. No fire alarm, that's because I don't like fire alarms. I prefer to live dangerously. So the kitchen looks like this. It's not that fancy, but it's got plenty of space. We have a little dining room, also not that fancy, but it does not have plenty of space. It's very small. And then you walk through there into another hallway. I admit this is probably wasted space. I think if I were to do it again, maybe it would be nice to like, I don't know, have this be a bathroom and scoot the stairs forward, or I don't know, something like that. But then the door's there, so I don't know. It's a weird one, but that's how I did it. This whole hallway probably could have been rearranged though. Then you walk into the living room. It's got like a little bookshelf and like a nice living space TV. The TV's a bit high, but that's okay. There's a really small bathroom downstairs, but it's got some nice appliances. I used things like this very expensive 1300 simoleon shower, so no wonder the lot's expensive. I used things like that. And then we've got grandma's bedroom down here. This could easily be changed into an office or whatever you need it to be though, maybe a gym. You know, it's one of those like flex rooms. Upstairs, we've got another big hallway. There's one more tiny bathroom upstairs. I've got 2 kids' rooms, and I tried to use some wallpaper that I don't often use. Like, I never use this pink flowery one, so I tried to use it today. I actually kind of like this wallpaper. I should use it more often. And I wanted to use the new swatches on the curtains, so I used this one in here. And then there's a blue one with some blue checkered wallpaper and some more blue curtains. Each of the kids has a desk, but not a dresser. So maybe a little bit impractical in real life, but that's fine. And then the parents have their bedroom, not the fanciest, but they also have an ensuite. And I only put a bathtub in here instead of a shower because I figured there was 2 showers already and you're gonna need to bathe your dog or something. So I put a bathtub in there. I've had really bad luck with the shower tub combos glitching recently. It might only be the cheaper one, but I've been using this shower tub combo in houses a lot, but my Sims refuse to use the bathtub in it. They like won't bathe any toddlers or dogs in it. So when I would usually put that, I didn't because I was scared it was gonna glitch again. So you could always probably change that out if you wanted to, if you were gonna actually play in the house, but I didn't want to put it because I didn't trust it. And that's the whole build. I think it's cute. I've definitely built things like this before, but I kind of want the whole neighborhood, all 3 of these lots, to be brick houses. Not all like this shape of brick, but brick houses is kind of what I'm going for all of them. I think it'll be nice. And then of course, you know, there's gonna be a library and museum. I already built those, library and museum. So that's one step done, I guess. All right, I swear I'll stop blabbing on. I gotta go. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and comment, you know, all that good stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye everybody.